Arizona, where Arizona State and the Sun Devils get set to take on the Owls of Kennesaw State. Don McLean, Kevin Calabro on hand, and let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Bank of the West. It'll be Andre Spite along with Jerry Blakes, Trey Holder, the point guard, Eric Jacobson, the senior in the middle, and Willie Atwood at a wing. Bobby Hurley, the brand new basketball coach at Arizona State University, 1-1 on the season. He is 42-20 previously with Buffalo in 2 years and led him to an NCAA appearance a year ago. And, of course, you know about the pedigree, the great history of basketball. Bobby Hurley, 7th pick in the NBA draft, coming out after back-to-back championship wins when playing for Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. Kennesaw State stands 0-2 on the year with losses at LSU and at Alabama. Their starting lineup tonight is Yonel Brown along with Kendrick Ray, two guys that can score the ball. Nick Masterson is a guard as well, and then up front they have a couple of wings in Nigel Pruitt and Jordan Jones. Head coach at Kennesaw State is Al Skinner, now in his first years. Previously, 13 years at Boston College, where he led that program to 7 NCAAs. A graduate of University of Massachusetts, class of 74. His number 30 is retired there as well. Previous to that, 9 years at Rhode Island. He has been around a while. Take a look now at our keys to the game.
Well, let's take a look at them, Kevin. Make threes. It's already pretty obvious that Arizona State's got to space the floor, make threes. 2 of 17 in the first game and a loss, 10 of 26 in the second. Limit the fouls. They've been putting the other team on the line. And then you just talked about Yonel Brown. You got to locate him in transition. Do not let him get going tonight.
The keys brought to you by Lexus.
You know, in general, you don't want to let Kennesaw State get going. You know, even though Bobby Hurley and his tenure, it's early and you're trying to establish the way you're going to play, you still have to come out with great energy, and teams that are lesser than you got to jump on them early. Don't give them any hope.
Turnaround bank shot is offered up, and that one is in and out from Nick Masterson. And the Sun Devils' Trey Holder will bring it up into front court, along with Jerry Blakes, with 22 points and 8 rebounds. On his 22nd birthday on Monday, the lefty will raise, and that three is off the mark.
Wanted to see if he was still hot.
Absolutely. This club was 2 of 17 from three-point range against Sacramento State, but they rebounded down against Belmont, and they were red hot, 10 of 21 from three.
And it's not as simple as if they make threes, they're going to win, but it is with the other players they have. Blakes can create his own. You can dump it into Jacobson, but if you can't throw it out and space the floor and make threes, then you're really easy to guard. So it's important that Spite, Justice, and even Holder to a certain degree can make some threes and keep that floor spread this season.
Holder averaging 11.5 and 3 assists per ball game in the last 2. A nice leap and lean in the paint. May have been fouled. 2-0 Arizona State.
That's what he's good at. You know, he's an evolving three-point shooter, but all last year he has the ability to get in the paint and make plays.
This is Yonel Brown from deep. That one careening off the back iron, and Holder takes the rebound. Look at the speed of Holder. Looks like he's slimmed down in the offseason as well.
I think everybody's slimmed down on this roster.
Nice dribble drive. Found a seam. Drives to the glass. Lays it in. And Holder off to a good start. Sun Devils on top 4-0.
Kennesaw's got to stop the ball. Holder was coming, but you got to pick him up, make him give it up. He got all the way to the rim that time.
Nick Masterson handling the ball. Out it comes to Nigel Pruitt. This is Jordan Jones. Again, a deep jump shot off the mark, and Jacobson clears the rebound. One of the other kids that slimmed down, he's lost nearly 20 pounds.
Deep shots, long rebounds, allowing Arizona State to get out. I don't think Kennesaw State's going to be able to stay in this game if they're just firing up threes the whole game.
Down the pedigree, Bobby Hurley. Of course, he played for his dad at St. Anthony's in Jersey City. He was actually an assistant as well at Wagner under his younger brother. Played, of course, for Krzyzewski, who was a Knight disciple. What's his philosophy as he takes on this program at Arizona?
Well, if you remember him as a player, as Jacobson puts it back in, he was feisty, tenacity, up and in you. And I think that's kind of the disposition he wants to bring to the team. You know, they want to play fast. At Buffalo, his two teams played really fast. You know, in the top 25 in the NCAA in terms of points per minute. And I think he wants to bring that. I think he wants to get a bunch of good athletes here that are good players and get out in transition. And but you can't do that unless you start on the defensive end. You got to get stops to get out and run.
And, of course, Knight played nearly exclusively man-to-man. Never zone, never would admit to playing any zone. And Duke plays straight-up man as well as Arizona State takes the early lead, 8-0, crashing the glass.
Well, in this day and age of college basketball, you have to mix your defenses up some, I believe. But if your baseline defense is good, tough, solid, man-to-man that you can rely on as your staple, now you can mix in some other stuff as you see Willie Atwood on the offensive glass. Surprised to see him in the starting lineup. Last year, didn't play a ton, got some starts, but not heavy minutes. And to credit to him and his work in the offseason to come out here and get a starting spot early in the season.
And he's off to a good start in the season, averaging 9 points, 8.5 rebounds, and has 3 steals to lead the ball club. Long-range offering from Yonel Brown again. Kennesaw State content to bomb away from the perimeter. Here's Holder, an early look from 3 that's off. Jacobson's after it, tumbles to the floor, keeps it alive. Atwood, good hustle, but threw it away, and Nigel Pruitt will come out of backcourt with it.
But I like Arizona State in their, how they're playing right now as Kennesaw finally gets one to go down. But against these lesser teams, sometimes you just kind of come out a little flat. You're not into the game, but Arizona State playing with some good zip right now.
Jerry Blake's looking to enter to Jacobson. Fronted and the ball denied. Jordan Jones got a piece of it. Yonel Brown will bring it the other way. A hard left hand. He's sealed off. Jacobson trailing. May have gotten a piece of that one. ASU on the fly. Holder. Nice backhand leave. And the bucket and the foul. Heading to the line. It's Savon Goodman. But how about Holder with the guts to make that enrollment of 31,000 Kennesaw, Georgia?
Yeah, that seems like a lot.
Of Atlanta.
But with Seacrest as an alumni, they better have some nice facilities if he's donating back to the school with all his money.
Savon Goodman to the line, knocks down the free throw. 3-point play for the junior who was outstanding a year ago once he got going.
He was, Kevin, and I really like him coming off the bench, especially how they're calling the game here early. A lot of touch fouls, and he plays so physical that you don't want him to pick up 2 and then be playing from behind all night. So I think a good move by Bobby Hurley to bring him off the bench.
There's a ball in deep that is deflected, and a nice putback by Kennesaw State as they get up onto the glass. Bobby Hurley during the timeout down, I think, was happy overall with the defense.
Well, if you're getting the other team to shoot threes and they're only 1 for 8, then you're doing a good job as Holder gets inside again. But just to finish the point on Goodman, nobody plays harder in this league in the Pac-12 than Goodman. I think this year you'll see him settle in a little more offensively. He was playing so fast last year that missed some plays, missed some shots. I think he'll be better offensively this year than he was last year.
Brown's shot is blocked. Holder, the skip pass. Cody Justice, the up and under scoop won't go, but crashing the glass is Jacobson with a 2-hand putback.
Jacobson saying, you know what, if you guys aren't going to throw it into me, I'm going to have to go get it. And he did with the putback.
Cody Justice now in the ball game. Moves up front, 6'5" sophomore.
But you know what? Why would they throw it in? If nobody's stopping the dribble and guys are going all the way to the rim, there's no reason to throw it into the post.
Entry pass too tall off the fingertips of Jordan Jones and out of bounds.
Just a simple high ball screen, and the help doesn't help enough. And Holder, again, all the way to the front of the rim. Justice up on the rim, and Jacobson, you talked about him losing weight, Kevin, a lot more active, moving better. I think that'll help him on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end. He was prone to foul trouble last year, too. Being in better condition, I think he'll move his feet a lot better, be in better position to guard.
Driving to the left, Savon Goodman, and he plays right through contact and lays it in. ASU on top here by a dozen.
Pretty sharp here early. Kennesaw not providing much resistance, but even still, said I liked how Arizona State's playing early. Good energy, good pop to what they're doing.
Goodman the rebound. Out it comes to Andre Spite, 6'3" junior, who can score. Junior college transfer from South Plains, Texas. Hails from Burbank, California.
Got it going against Belmont the other night. Spite 4-7 from behind the line. They're going to need him to do that on a lot of nights.
Justice enters inside. The ball deflected away. Obina Olika is in now for Arizona State. Olika, 6'7" junior.
So I think with the players he has, they have a chance to challenge a lot of teams in the conference this year, but it will be interesting to see how they handle that tough schedule in November, December.
At Creighton, Texas A&M, at Kentucky, at UNLV.
It's no cakewalk.
Cross-court pass knocked down by Andre Spite. Takes his time, lean back, can't get there, but ASU there in numbers. And Olika at the glass with two other teammates.
Well, Kennesaw is smaller than Arizona State, and they got to do something about their defense right now. It's way too easy for Arizona State.
Nigel Pruitt from Potomac, Maryland, 6'7" senior, knocks down a jump shot in the lane.
They got to string together some stops if they want to get back into it. We're almost 8 minutes in, and Arizona State shooting 60% so far.
Here's Goodman with a drop step and a foul called on Goodman for the hook as Nigel Pruitt stands his ground.
Yeah, Spite jumping the passing lane, taking it all the way down. But here's what you like if you're Bobby Hurley. Look at all the guys not quitting on the play.
Yep.
3 Arizona State guys ready to put that offensive rebound back in.
ASU 9 of 15 shooting from the field. They've attempted just 3 3-point shots, 0 for 3 from 3. And they've outboarded Kennesaw State 14-2.
So Goodman, technical foul here.
Hey, he's upset about something. Yonnell Brown will head to the free throw line.
No, it's what you don't want. You're off to a good start. Kennesaw's not really into the game defensively. Gets the offensive foul and must have said something.
The officials are John Higgins, Dave Hall, and Randy McCall here tonight. ASU has split a pair of ball games, losing to Sacramento State in their first outing of the year. As we mentioned, just 2 of 17 from 3, but worse than that, the free throws. They had 27 attempts at 15, just 15 of 27 from the line, but bounced back after a couple of very tough practices, we're told, over the weekend, and did a terrific job against Belmont in all phases of the game.
It's probably too early, Kevin. Not a big enough sample size to really know what you have yet, especially when you're trying to implement new offense. Any trends yet? But in talking to them, it sounds like they understand that they need to be able to make shots and spread the floor, and they'll get better at the other stuff as they go along.
Full 30 to shoot for Kennesaw State on the inbounds. Aubrey Williams, 6'6" junior, up top, will screen and roll wide open. They didn't see him. Nigel Pruitt will swing the ball, and Yonnell Brown will handle. Flashing to the ball, Nigel Pruitt. Bad pass got away. ASU will take it. Cody Justice across midcourt.
You know, one thing with a new coach as well, you know, opinions haven't, or, you know, evaluations aren't finished, meaning a lot of guys playing for minutes.
Jacobson gives it up on a walk, and we'll take a timeout. The Owls of Kennesaw State will take over, but ASU right now leading by 11.
People think they're going to make the NCAA tournament? Probably not, but you never know. With a new coach and guys coming together, a different way of doing things, guys caring about each other, you can sometimes overachieve, and we're going to find out if Arizona State can do that this year.
Cody Justice picks it away, then gives it back. And a foul called. No, actually double dribble out on the floor, so ASU will get it back. Justice, nice job of playing that ball, Don. 6'5", long wingspan, and I think echoing what, or showing what Bobby Hurley was asking from him the last time out. Hands up defensively, and don't allow that ball to come up over the top of the defense.
He's an important player for them. You know, a good shooter, 45% on his career. His season last year was cut short. He travels there, but he was starting to really play well. Had a career high against Cal, and then the next game against Stanford broke his foot and ended his season. But he's, like I said, going to be an important part of what Arizona State does this year.
You remember the first couple of weeks they were trying to decide, was it Holder or Justice who's going to be a point guard. Justice, of course, was a rookie at that time, a freshman at that time, as was Holder. So that was a very difficult phase for both the players.
And you know what happened when Justice went out is when Trey Holder really took off.
That's right.
He started really to play well.
Justice, nice bounce pass ahead. And look at the athleticism of Oleka to contort the body to the rim and lay it in.
You can see how Arizona State wants to play. Like a lot of teams, you got to guard, get the rebound, and then get out. And they've beaten Kennesaw down the floor 4 or 5 times already.
Nigel Pruitt bouncing the floor now for Kennesaw State. Three of 13 shooting for the Owls. Time running down, 2 on the shot clock.
Another tough shot from Kennesaw State, but give Arizona State credit. And I said right before break, I'd finish that point, that Bobby Hurley has coached these guys over the summer in the first part here, but guys are playing for minutes, and he's got a big rotation right now. Moving forward, guys are going to earn their minutes on the defensive end, so it's important when you get your chance, you come out ready to play.
Jacobson gets the block, the nice drop step, but couldn't finish at the rim. Tracy Hector in the lineup, freshman from Jonesboro, Georgia, handling the ball now. Swings it far side. From the elbow, Nigel Pruitt. The rebound comes to Justice. Looking at push.
Like a lot of teams, despite spots up for that three. A lot of dribble drive penetration from Kennesaw State, looking for kickouts or finishing in the paint. Ball screens. Seems like everybody in the country does that now. Ball screens, spread you out, dribble drive, kick out to shooters. Fortunately for Arizona State, Kennesaw hasn't been able to really knock down any threes yet.
Now they're just 1 of 5 from three-point range.
3 for 15 overall. Some of that's really good Arizona State defense. Some of that is Kennesaw State shot selection.
Yonnell Brown has yet to hit a field goal. He's the point guard handling now. Jacobson comes up and switches. Now they switch back as he recovers on the big man. Kennesaw State, all their offense above the foul line. They don't get anything going down to the paint at all or on the baseline.
Well, you can see that what they want to do, Lika stepping out. Ray does a smart thing. With guards coming off that ball screen, you go right to the body of the big who's showing. You usually pick up that foul, and he did that time. But again, the dribble drive penetration, Arizona State's doing a great job of keeping them in front here early. So Kennesaw really kind of stuck in their offense right now because they have nowhere to go. If you play dribble drive offense and don't get any penetration, it's hard for you to score, and we're seeing that right now.
Lincoln comes down with a rebound. Jerry Blake's closing out on the shooter, now handles the ball. Looking to enter to Jacobson. Now he works the left block. And again, a nice move, but could not finish. Hector comes down with a rebound for the Owls.
I'd like to see Jacobson with his size advantage not go away from the basket, but towards the basket. That was kind of a fall away there. He's got a big size advantage. Power dribble, go up in the paint. Right, left shoulder finishes.
Jacobson, 6'10" and 240 from Hamilton High School in Chandler, Arizona. He'll get a first breather tonight.
He does look like he's lost 20 pounds, doesn't it? Sometimes you hear about guys losing weight and you really can't tell. You can tell with him.
Maurice O'Field in the lineup, 6'5" sophomore, junior college transfer with 3 years of eligibility left. He's in the lineup now as ASU goes a little smaller. A deflection and the putback. Aubrey Williams gets the bucket for the Owls.
Well, you know that the shots are going up, and Brown isn't going to shy away even if he's not making any. So Arizona State's got to be aware of Kennesaw going to the offensive board.
Blakes has it deflected off his foot and out of bounds.
And you don't want to get sloppy either. You got out to a big lead. You're playing well, and the game's flattened out a little bit here the last 3 or 4 minutes. Don't get sloppy. Good hand, but Blake's a little loose with the dribble that time.
Brown from Lawrenceville, Georgia, the senior, had 34 points, 10 rebounds on Alabama.
To me, the 10 rebounds is more impressive than the 34 points at his size.
He's listed at 5'9". Here's Holder the other way. Little hesitation, drew Masterson onto him. Nice play and a foul. That stops play with 7:51 left in the first half here from Tempe. And it's all ASU right now on the Pac-12 network.
But who does Arizona State jump in that poll after a couple games? I'm not sure.
Washington listed down there after the win in China over Texas.
They're going to be better than people think.
Yep, starting 4 freshmen.
Well, a lot unknown with that many new players in the program, but obviously those kids can play.
We'll be there tomorrow night in Seattle when they take on St. Mary's. After the timeout, Nick Masterson knocks down a jump shot for the Owls, and they have now pulled it with an 8.
Yeah, they're creeping back in, and Arizona State's got to get back to the intensity defensively that they had to start the game.
Largest lead, 14 points.
Tell you what's happened. Kennesaw State's picked up their defense. Arizona State was scoring at will to start the game. Now it's a little more difficult for them.
Olika with a fall-away jump shot, a beauty. 10-point Sun Devil lead.
Like that Blake's is on Brown, accepting the challenge of guarding the other team's best player, but he's still got a score on the other end, too.
Blake's at 6'4" with the height advantage. Masterson tests the hot hand. He missed it. Blake's comes down with the rebound. Shut off by Brown. Here's Holder with a step, and Masterson fouled him.
Little high-low action. Olika inside pivot. Little fall-away jumper. That's a nice-looking play there. That little mid-ranger, Kevin's not that easy. That 12 to 15-footer on the baseline. That's not an easy shot, but Olika gets it to go down.
The Owls with 3 team fouls and ASU at 6. Cody Justice along with Trey Holder.
Let's not mention the fouls called again, Kevin. Don't get me started on how the game's being officiated here earlier in the season.
Although this one's had a nice flow to it.
Yeah,
Justice outside uncorks and hits a 3. Cody Justice, 20 of 44, 45% from three-point range in his career. He can do that.
But that's my whole point. With not a lot of whistles, this game has had a nice look. It's aesthetically, it looks right. You know, calling 50 fouls in a game just chops the game up way too much. All right, I've said my piece for tonight, Kevin.
Justice forces the ball to help to Goodman. And there's a blocking foul called inside. Inside that 4-foot restricted area stood Savon Goodman waiting for the ball.
He's proven he can do this, Cody Justice. Coming off the ball screen, stop and pop. And that's what makes him a little bit different, gives ASU a different look between him and Holder. Holder more looking to turn the corner, get into the paint, and make plays. Justice will stop behind or just go past that ball screen and light the 3.
Rebound grabbed inside by the Owls. Bernard Moreno was not screened, and so now Brown will have another look. Reset of the shot clock for the Owls. Bucket would have counted had it gone. And Moreno's fouled going to the rim.
You see a lot of contact there. Must have gotten him low, but, you know, again, Kennesaw State's done 2 things, Kevin. They've turned it up a little bit defensively. They're stopping the ball in transition, but they're also not just shooting threes like they were to start the game, which were giving Arizona State runouts. They're now actually running some offensive sets and getting the ball inside and driving it to the rim.
LSU didn't have any trouble scoring against this club. 91-69, and Alabama beat them 77-64. And both opponents shooting an average of 50%.
Speaking of LSU, that Ben Simmons, man. Oof. If he's not the #1 pick in the draft next year, I don't know who is. He is really, really good.
ASU up 10 with 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. Holder handles at the far point. He'll back his way down on Brown and a nice one-hander. He's got that mid-range game you were talking about.
That's his game right there. That explosion dribble into the paint and either kick back out or floater runner. He's gotten really good at that.
There's Brown, who still is struggling from the field. He's 0 for 7. The putback is wide, but coming down with it is Aubrey Williams. Has it rejected inside by Olika. Justice will fling it to Spite. Ahead to Holder. Into the lane. Got clobbered. He'll shoot 2.
Well, one thing to talk about at halftime for Arizona State is cleaning up the offensive board, or their defensive board, I should say. Kennesaw is getting second and third chance opportunities, but the block leads to early offense. Holder to the rim and gets fouled.
Holder, Pac-12 all freshman a year ago. And as Don mentioned, just got better as the year went on once the roles were clearly defined.
Yeah, when you're not looking over your shoulder, you typically play better. Not that that was anyone's fault. It just was. You know, Justice, I think, was better than people thought he was going to be. And Holder, you know, started the season not great offensively and lost a little bit of confidence. But once Justice went out, it was just him and his job. And he really picked it up and played well to finish the year.
ASU with a 14-point lead back intact now, Don. Brown still looking for his first bucket, and he has it. And is fouled. So after an 0 for 8 start, Yannel Brown has attempted 5 threes. Will go to the line.
Well, you're playing him on the three-point line. So a guy that size, when he cuts, you may be a little bit surprised. But Arizona State's got to know that. I think Brown, a senior smart player, understands that he can't get it going from behind the line right now. So he's going to try and figure out different ways to score.
Kennesaw State from the Atlantic Sun Conference, probably the most notable team in the Atlantic Sun Conference, Jacksonville.
Or Florida Gulf Coast.
Oh, that's right.
Andy Enfield's old school.
Made that run 3 years ago to the NCAAs.
Good find.
Just as short arms. Terrific rebound inside with a putback, Willie Atwood.
Well, I think that's how he's kind of earned his minutes, and that's why he came to Arizona State, to be that rebounding tough guy, high motor on the offensive board, and I think he's doing that now. That's why he's playing.
Pruitt splits a pair of defenders but missed the mid-range shot. Atwood the recovery.
Nice.
Jacobson, long lead pass. Spite overruns it. Jacobson after the rebound, but a foul. This is going to be on the Owls. Willie Atwood, the senior, averaging just under 9 rebounds per ball game. Reads that one beautifully with a putback, and Arizona State on top 32-19, 3:50.
We're 10 for 22 from behind the line, but a big reason why. And so, again, for a lot of teams, you got to be able to space the floor and make threes. But really important for this Arizona State team, who are going to be the guys that can change defense or make the opposition change their defense, because you really got to account for a three-point shooter. Is it going to be Spite, Justice, Blakes, or is it going to be a lot of guys contributing?
Well, it's encouraging considering the number of three-point shooters they lost from a year ago. Jonathan Gilling was automatic coming off the bench, and then Bo Barnes had some moments where he could heat up as well.
Well, and that's kind of why I've been talking about it a lot here in the first half, and I forgot to mention those guys. But, yeah, they could really rely on Gilling and Barnes to space the floor.
Running out was Jerry Blakes, but too late. Jump shot knocked down by the Owls. They lead, or I should say trail by 11 now. ASU on top, 3:24 to go first half.
Now they're hanging around. Arizona State can do themselves a favor by going on a little run here to end the half and take the will and the spirit of Kennesaw State, but they're not going away right now. Every time it gets to 14, they make a couple plays to get back in it.
ASU a turnover, Pruitt to steal, and the feed to Ray. Missed the jump shot. Jacobson saves it, but right to Ray, and he charges. Jacobson got his feet set, and ASU will take it back.
Well, you want to get it out when you secure the defensive possession, but you can't be sloppy with it. Jacobson was falling out of bounds. He had a couple options there, tried to go to Blakes and turned it over, but makes up for it by stepping in to get the offensive foul.
Coach Al Skinner, 23rd year in Division I, 385 wins to his credit. He had a 9-year stint at Rhode Island, 13 years at Boston College, where he got him to the tournament 9 times. In fact, he was the Big East Coach of the Year back in 2004. First year at Kennesaw State.
He had some good teams at Boston College. Good players.
That one's way off, and Nigel Pruitt will come down off the miss of Olika of ASU.
And interesting, Kennesaw State's playing the post straight up. No help coming.
Entry pass gets away and off the fingertips of Bernard Morena. And ASU will take over on yet another turnover assist to the Owls.
Do you throw it in, though, understanding that they're not coming to double? Do you trust your big guys enough that they're going to get you a hoop if you throw it in there? It's one thing that they're not doubling, but can you make them pay for not doubling the post?
8 turnovers on the Owls. ASU with 9 here in the first half. Olika the step back. Now Brown will bring it out of backcourt, covered by the 6'5" Cody Justice. Spite with hands and a foul called out on the perimeter. Last year that may have gone, but this year you can't reduce the freedom for those offensive players to operate, Don.
Apparently Coach Hurley didn't agree with that call, but
I didn't.
You know, it's going to take a big adjustment. To say that you have to guard a guy with literally not touching him at all with your hands is a pretty tough challenge. But if they're going to call it, you got to find a way to do it. Is that going to increase scoring? Only if teams are really good foul shooting teams, because to me the shot clock, all these changes that they've made are predicated on guys shooting a higher percentage because of it. I don't believe that. I don't think you're going to shoot a higher percentage, but if you put a team on the line 40 times in a game, they're probably going to score more points.
27% shooting for Kennesaw. At the line, they are 3 of 7. Just 5 attempts for ASU, and another turnover, the 10th of the night. Charge of the Sun Devils.
Well, that's exactly my point. The way the game's being officiated, Kennesaw State still only has 22 points. So freedom of movement or not, it's still about putting the ball in the basket.
They're shooting 27% from 3 on 3 of 11. Here's a mid-range look. Nigel Pruitt knocks it down. Pruitt leading the way for the Owls. He has 10.
Telling you, Arizona State's giving this Kennesaw State team a little bit of hope here. They got it under 10. And I'm sure they're saying to themselves, let's keep it under 10 going into halftime. Give ourselves a little momentum.
Well, there are the turnovers. Sacramento State, they had 11. Belmont 22, and tonight.
It's pretty interesting, though. The Belmont game was the win.
Yeah.
Sacramento State, you only turned it over 11. It tells you how important that 3-ball is for Arizona State, that they turned it over 22 times and still won against a better Belmont team. Don't make anything against Sacramento State, but don't turn it over a lot and don't win.
Well, coming up at halftime, the State Farm halftime report. Katie Boggs, she'll take a look at how basketball is rolling tonight among the top 25 and preview the Territorial Cup. Arizona coming off a win against Utah and ASU.
Good shot of the 942 crew there. Looking ahead to the second half already, Kevin. Why?
Yes. The curtain of distraction.
The curtain of distraction. See what they got in store for us tonight.
So it's caught my eye and kind of set me off a little bit. 1:04 left here in the first half. Teeing up a deep ball that ricochets in and out is Nigel Pruitt.
I'm waiting to get an invite to be on like the board of trustees of the curtain of distraction. I was in Tempe at least 9 times last year, so I got to see it up close. I got to see how it works, and here we go. The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
His guns aren't as quite the same as
not as scaly as the Hulk is.
Lou Ferrigno didn't have as big of a midsection as that either, I don't think.
Yonel Brown averaging 22 a game coming into this contest. Another mid-range jump shot, wide open, off the mark. And battling for the rebound, and there's Jerry Blakes. He is tied up on a whistle.
Well, what happens, Kevin, when you're Yonel Brown and averaging 22 a game? You're the primary guy on the scouting report, and they're waiting on you. So you're not going to get a lot of clean looks, and especially at his size, he can't see over the top of any defenders, really. So he's got to work extremely hard to get separation, to get space, and he doesn't have a lot of time. So what happens is you get sped up a little bit, start rushing things, and you can have the night he started off with tonight so far.
Jerry blinks at the line. The lefty will raise, and he missed the first. The ball out of bounds. Last touch by Bernard Morena. So the Owls give it back to ASU. Let's see, are they going to reverse the call? No, a timeout called with 26 and 2/10 seconds left here in the first half. And ASU leading 35-24.
Remember, you can't take that. Good first half here for Trey Holder. 10 points, 4 of 5 from the floor.
Sun Devils working for the last shot of the half. They've led by as many as 14. They'll flatten it out. Holder at the top. Jacobson on the block. Jacobson comes up to screen. Holder trying to split a pair of defenders. The ball is deflected. Jacobson trying to dig it off the floor. Got to shoot. Does. Caught rim. Put back. Is blocked. And then ends the half.
Well, a pretty good first half for Arizona State. There were stretches where they flattened out a little bit off. They're already recruiting different players than they have been the last decade. But it's going to take some time. But I have no doubt that Bobby Hurley's going to have Arizona State contending in this Pac-12 conference shortly.
ASU's been very good at home over the last 3 years, 47-8, and they have beaten the eventual Pac-12 champions each of the last 3 years here at home. They've beaten Arizona the last couple of years, and you go back 3 years where they beat UCLA. So they've been able to get it done at Wells Fargo.
Yeah, they've been really good here the last 3 years, 4 years. It's been on the road where they've struggled a little bit. Here come the whistles this half.
Spite on the inbounds, tees up a deep shot. The foul's going to be called on the Owls. And Yonel Brown. Holder on the inbounds. He's got a full 30 on the shot clock. Spite on the screen from Jacobson has a little air room. Missed it. And the rebound recovery in there by Willie Atwood. He's fouled trying to get back to the rim. They say he was in the act. He'll shoot two.
Well, you know that the backboard was talked about in the Arizona State locker room at halftime because Kennesaw State got some extra chances, and even though Arizona State up 28-13, this is a team that Arizona State should dominate on the backboard. And you can see early Atwood taking advantage but misses the first free throw.
6 of 9 from the line for ASU, 3 of 8 for Kennesaw, and Atwood splits a pair here. Brown with that Shammond Williams look. With that headband.
Shammond Williams.
Standing about 5'9". Shammond, I think, was 6 feet tops out of North Carolina. The fallaway jump shot is off. And the rebound recovered.
Little flex action out of Kennesaw State. Pretty good look for Brown. One of the best looks he's had all night.
Jacobson, too strong on the bank.
In between there, right? You know, that's a tough little shot. Might as well take a dribble and try and dunk it.
They've been all over Brown with length. Jerry Blakes has done a nice job at 6'4", tracking him down. Jacobson closes out on the three-point shooter. It's off, and Holder ends up with it.
A lot of jumpers to start this half for Kennesaw State, just like they did in the first half. It allowed Arizona State to push the lead out early.
They enter it to Atwood as it jabbed away. He's able to flick it outside to Jacobson. Nice look. This is Blakes from three. Bingo. Down it goes.
See, that's what I like about Holder. You know, he could have easily shot that little pull-up right there, but instead the kick out to Blakes, who was even more open. The decision-making of Trey Holder and making the right play has gotten so much better since the start of last season.
Sun Devils 2 for 10 from three. Atwood the pick the other way for the lay-in and the foul. Willie Atwood.
Well, again, Willie Atwood didn't play a ton last year, but if you come and play with this kind of energy, he's gotten himself in better condition. And this is how you earn your stay on the court, is to make plays defensively, stay in the defensive game plan, whatever the scheme is that night, make yourself valuable on that end. You get to stay on the court and make your free throws.
Owls call timeout as they have fallen behind now. ASU. Heated non-conference battle between the Sun Devils and UCSB. Tip set for Sunday, November 29th at 2 Pacific, 3 Mountain on the Pac-12 Network, or watch on Pac-12 now or Pac-12.com. Don McLean, Kevin Calabro on hand. Back to the action we go with ASU enjoying their largest lead of the game. Up 18. They get caught reaching here, and a foul called on Atwood sends the Owls Nigel Pruitt to the line.
Well, good play out of the timeout for Kennesaw State, and miscommunication for Arizona State. out of position, had to foul, or it would have been an easy layup for Pruitt.
Pruitt, the senior from Potomac, Maryland.
There we go.
See if he'll be distracted by the clowns and whatever else is going on back there. I'm not sure how to describe that, Don, so I won't even try.
One guy was imitating the foul shooter, and then the other was just a scary clown, I think.
A scary clown, man. Sun Devils led by as many as 14 in the first half. On the inbounds, Holder to Jacobson. Holder will come over there, clean it up, balance the floor, get a screen from Jacobson. Kicks to Spite into the lane. Nice contortion and hands off to Jacobson for the two-hand jam.
You know what I like about that? Spite hasn't really gotten it going at all tonight offensively, and he could have just put that one up on the rim, but instead made the right play, dumped it off to Jacobson for the easy dunk.
Masterson, Jacobson in traffic. Muscles the rebound and the outlet to Holder. Off balance. No harm, no foul, they say. They play on, and Aubrey Williams will wheel it outside.
Let's see if Arizona State now can push this out and take the spirit of Kennesaw a little bit instead of let them back into it like they did in the first half. It's at 18 right now, and you got to believe if it gets 20 plus, it may be hard for Kennesaw to keep their intensity level.
Pruitt catches rim, and that one rolls in. Staggered screen up top. Holder got a big on him, and a foul called on Aubrey Williams, who was trying to guide him with a hip.
Well, it's interesting how the game's being called differently than it was in the first half. It was free-flowing, and I don't sense or see anything different defensively, individually, that tells me that there should be more fouls being called this half than in the first half. That's the part of this I don't understand. And the other part I don't understand is I watched Duke Kentucky last night, and it was 50 times more physical than this game, and there was way less fouls being called. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this thing's ever going to be consistent enough for me to understand it.
16 fouls already on Kennesaw. ASU with 1.
It would almost make more sense in this game if it was a close game, but it's a 16-point game right now.
Spite operating. He's got 6 to shoot, and he is fouled on the slash. He'll go to the line for the 1-and-1. The foul called on the reach from Tracy Hector.
I hate to keep saying stuff about this, Kevin, but it just, I've been doing this for a while now, and I just don't understand the thought process and how, to be honest, the first half is refereed different than the second half. That's really hard as a player to adjust. If it's consistent and you know that what we're seeing in this second half is how it's going to be called, then you adjust. But if you let guys play for 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you start calling it really tight, that's really difficult to play under those conditions.
Take a look at the fouls per game. They are up already here, just a small sample size, but 6.5 more fouls called per ball game. We were in Arizona a few nights ago. 54 free throw attempts by Arizona alone.
I hear complaints from fans too. The game's on that.
Without question.
I mean, attendance for the most part is already down, and now you're asking people to pay money to come watch a game that's littered with fouls and free throws.
Spite outside. Deflected out of bounds, and this will be Kennesaw State basketball.
Let's take a look at Spite on the drive, the dump off to Jacobson. And then another look at it. Arizona State cruising.
And look at the numbers overall. 46% shooting now for Arizona State in the ballgame. They've out-rebounded the Owls 34-16 and have dominated the paint, an 18-point advantage in paint points.
But again, though, let's see if they can push this lead out, not let Kennesaw State hang around. I really feel like if they turn it up defensively, they can accomplish that.
Masterson, the step back. Malika, the rebound.
I don't think Coach Hurley likes Savon Goodman's technical foul in the first half. He hasn't played a whole lot tonight.
That's a good point. He's on the floor now. Cody Justice's handling comes off the Goodman screen, firing. Mid-range shot off the heel of the iron. And turning and grabbing it is Nigel Pruitt. Yonel Brown, he doesn't look like he's even trying to score now, Donnie. He's 1 of 11 in this ballgame, 0 of 5 from 3.
Well, Arizona State's rotating fresh guys on him, too. So he's getting guys that are, aggressive and intense and limiting him. And I don't think he's quit on it, but it's certainly been a struggle for him tonight, especially from behind the three-point line.
Aubrey Williams sweeping across the paint for that last bucket for the Owls. Justice on a little pick and pop. Ball knocked free, and Goodman there to recover it for the slam.
Good execution there. The little pocket pass from Justice to Alika. Alika high-low to Goodman, operating on that deep baseline.
Justice got jolted on the screen, said by Aubrey Williams. That's a turnover, and ASU will take it.
If you're a ball handler now, you have to have that little pocket pass. There's so many different screen roll coverages now. A lot of teams and a lot of programs are now downing or icing the screen roll, which sends the ball handler to the sideline baseline. That pocket pass back you see a lot to the big guy who's setting the screen. That one was a little different, but again, a pass that all guards need to have now.
Good change of direction on that dribble, and then a nice slash. That's Jerry Blake's out of Inglewood, California, with a bucket.
Starting to open up now, and you can tell that Kennesaw maybe starting to feel like they don't have enough to come back.
You and I were talking about Blake's before the game, his ability to just score in bunches. He had a couple of streaks last year against Washington State, where he put together just a run of 16 by himself and 17 by himself.
Closed the Washington State game with 16 straight points, and then 2 days later comes back against UW and scores 17 in a row in just over 5 minutes of game action. That's impressive. Yeah, Arizona State's really, I said it a few minutes ago, really been sharing the ball tonight. Unselfish, getting what they want, and Alika gets fouled.
Alika, the junior transfer. Free throw shooting for Arizona State tonight, 10 of 13. They have hit 2 of 10 from 3 and 47% shooting from the field. A matchup coming on Monday. They go to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Just a gorgeous place. You like that building, don't you, down there in Brooklyn? Magnificent. They'll take on North Carolina State with an opportunity to either play LSU or Marquette in the other bracket. Kendrick Ray handling out on the wing. Now Brown will turn and fire.
There you go.
Knocks down a jump shot. You can see he's got terrific technique, but just 2 for 12 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3.
Yeah, and I said it in the first half, though, Kevin. When you're his size, you don't have a lot of time, and you usually don't have a lot of room. So if you don't make your first couple and you don't get it going, it's hard for you to really get it going. And you're the focus of the other team's defensive game plan every night.
Alika with a mid-range look. Brown is doubled. He's got to get rid of it. Pruitt is shut off over there. Moving his feet was Ofield.
Alika coming in, Kevin. Only 6.5 minutes a game in the first 2 and hadn't scored. But he looks like he can score some, right?
He does, yeah. He had a turnaround jump shot in the first half that was, well, orchestrated. He's got good technique.
You know what, though? I think it's one of those things, too, that I was saying earlier. He played well early, so Bobby Hurley's keeping him on the floor for a longer stretch.
Look at Bobby Hurley out of St. Anthony's High School in Jersey City. Says, even in Jersey City, I'm not sure I saw that call. It's a 20-point lead for ASU. Alika and Justice, they're on the ball, but recovering it inside was Aubrey Williams for the putback.
I think one area to work on for Arizona State, even though the overall rebounding, Kennesaw State has done some damage on the offensive board tonight.
Oldfield's shot is off. This is Yonel Brown. And again, the length of Blake's at 6'4" bothers him. He gets rid of the ball. Had a notion there. Dribbling in between defenders and a nice look veering to his left with the right hand.
Sometimes all it takes is one to get you going. He makes the three. That time makes a really tough runner in the lane.
Justice, great pump fake. Throws defenders and finds Alika for a triple out of the corner.
Where'd this guy come from?
Wow.
Breakout game for him.
Yonel Brown from behind getting a piece was Blake's. And the finish by Goodman for ASU.
Well, I'm really curious to see, because Blake's is on Yonel Brown, their leading scorer tonight. Is Blake's going to be their #1 defender against the other team's best wing player all year? Because you're going to need Blake's to score, and can he expend that much energy on the defensive end and still give you the offensive production as well?
Ten and a half minutes. Set out last season attending Cecil Community College in Maryland. And he is originally from Washington, D.C. with a couple of years of eligibility. 6'7", and has an ability to shoot it.
Speaking of guys sitting out for Arizona State, Torian Graham and Shannon Evans, two guys that followed Bobby Hurley to Tempe from Buffalo. And from what I understand, they are going to be immediate impact guys next season for Arizona State.
21-point lead for ASU, 10-12 left in the second. After getting shocked by Sacramento State on Friday night of their opener, they came back to beat Belmont on Monday. Ball jabbed away. Last touch by the Owls out of bounds. 15 to shoot now. We'll see what ASU draws up here on the baseline inbounds.
You know, Kevin, I mentioned it earlier, and this is obvious that his Justice throws it off the back of the defender. You know, recruiting is what builds programs. Getting the players, you win more games, obviously, the better players you have. And the fact that Bobby Hurley, with his credentials and his name, is able to get in the living rooms of better players, that's why I really believe that it's not going to be long before Arizona State's contending in the Pac-12. You know, for whatever reason, and I've never been able to figure this out because of the weather in Tempe in the wintertime and the facilities, their practice facilities, unbelievable. Why they haven't been able to get over the hump and contend year after year with the Arizonas, the UCLAs, the Oregons, and those teams. But I think Bobby Hurley's the guy that can do it. I think he can get this program to a level that they're kind of thought of the same way those programs are, getting to the tournament every year and contending for the Pac-12 championship.
Jacobson comes down to the rebound. He has 8 rebounds tonight. Blake's with 10 to lead ASU. Alika with a dozen to lead ASU off the bench, and Holder with 10. And here's a deep jump shot by Blake's. It's up and in. Blake showing some of that pizzazz we talked about. He had 5 games last year, 20 points or better.
What's interesting, though, new coach, new system, a lot of times you'd start thinking about putting in some of your reserves that don't get a lot of time, but the more reps these guys get playing together in live game action, the better when you're trying to implement a bunch of new stuff.
Jacobson with the body on the cutter, Kendrick Ray.
Well, we know Blakes can do this, and Atwood kind of runs through that screen, slips it, defender goes with him, Blake's open for the pull-up three.
Kendrick Ray on the inbounds. He'll bring it outside to Yonel Brown. And a whistle. That will be on Blake's. Overreached on Arizona State. The 15th foul here of the half. Kennesaw is at the limit, and ASU in the double bonus. Bad inbounds pass, and Brown is forced to save it in backcourt. That's a violation. ASU will take it on the Owls turnover.
I like what I see out of Arizona State. I know Kennesaw State, picked to finish last in the Atlantic Sun by blue ribbon. Al Skinner's just beginning to try and turn this program around, but even still, they got a lot of good players. I like the new guys. Spite, Olika played well tonight.
Yep.
Jacobson. The one thing, and you mentioned it in the first half, Kevin, everybody looks like they're in better shape.
Yeah.
Right?
This guy Holder, for example, he was chubby last year.
Yeah.
Jacobson's lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I think the word got out, hey, we're going to run.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Yep. And I think Bobby Hurley, knowing him for as long as I do and how fiery and intense he is, I would imagine practices are well, you're getting in some conditioning in those practices, I would imagine.
That was the word. Blake's was in the papers a couple of days ago talking about how difficult that practice was physically, and then they did a lot of film, a lot of video. There was a lot of frank talk on Saturday after they lost on Friday night, Sacramento State. You can see the results against Belmont, and that's what you want to do. Don, you know that better than I do. They want to just continue to get better and better and better as the season progresses.
And here's the thing, Kevin, and even, at any level of basketball, why is something as easy as getting yourself in the best shape you can be in, which is easy. Gaining more skill is hard. But if you can take being tired out of the equation, then how much better individually are you going to be, and how much better is your team going to be? That's something that you can control. That's easy. The skill part is what gets hard and takes a ton of work and all that. But eating right, getting yourself in great condition really isn't that hard. You just got to commit to it.
And with the, like you say, with the emphasis of the rules now, you can't cheat. You can't grab. You can't hold.
Right.
You've got to be quick. You've got to move your feet. There's emphasis defensively on movement of your feet.
Well, for a guy like Jacobson, and we talked about him in the first half, they want to run. So if you're a big guy and you can't run or don't want to run or too tired to run, guess what? You ain't going to score. So if I'm a big guy, I need to get myself to a place where I don't get tired and I can run the floor as fast as I can every time.
Spike into the teeth of the defense. Ball spiked away. Owls on the run. And Nigel Pruitt finishes.
Well, I don't think this game's in any danger, but I'll tell you what Bobby Hurley's going to say to his group. Let's continue to work on our habits. We're probably not going to lose, but let's not just give the last 8 minutes away. Let's continue to work on what we've been talking about.
Holder into the lane, sets up Spike. He steps into a three, in and out. Jacobson, gimme that. Muscles it free and laid it in.
Yeah, look at the shoulders there. You didn't see that definition on him the last couple of years.
Listed at 240. They say he's lost 20. Yonel Brown defended now by Holder.
Good job by Holder, not using his hands, though. Tough shot by Brown.
Brown with 11 on 4 of 15 shooting. Got up to just a horrible start. Holder got ASU off to a very good start by his aggressiveness on the offensive end, doing just that, getting into the paint and hitting that little mid-range floater.
He's good at it. The defense for Kennesaw hasn't been great, so it's made it look really easy for him. But Trey Holder can do that against the highest level of competition, too. He proved it last year. Played really well in that upset win of Arizona at home. 15 points, 8 assists, probably his best game of his freshman year. Not a good decision there.
Jacobson, the offensive rebound, reset of the shot clock. Wisely skips it to Spite. He'll fire away and miss. Atwood went unblocked to the glass, got the rebound and is fouled, and heads to the line as we go to a break. To the line comes Willie Atwood. Arizona State tonight here at home, 47% shooting from the field, just 4 of 16 from 3 after an outstanding performance against Belmont when they knocked down 10 of 21. But at the line, they've been very good.
Well, as I said in the first half, too, it's hard to really get a read on what is for these teams with such a small sample size. I think league-wide, too. You know, once you start getting into the teeth of your non-con and playing some really good teams, it's hard to really tell. And, you know, start playing 5, 6, 7 games, you start to understand who players are and who teams are as well.
Justice drives, draws, and kicks, and there's Jacobson on the face-up mid-range shot of the end line.
Nice play by Justice off of one leg. He probably could have shot that run or two, but kicked it out to Jacobson for the easy 14-footer.
And the big man has 13 points to go with 10 rebounds. His career high, rebounding high, was set last year against UNLV. He had a dozen. Cody Justice takes it off the floor.
Nice.
Boy, just a great redirection from Goodman to Jacobson for the two-hand hammer.
Another example of the unselfishness, too. They're really moving the ball, especially in the second half.
Their interior passing's been good. They've had some good exchanges between big guys in the paint tonight.
Only if you're willing, though. You know, and I think that's the thing as we take a look at this.
They'll take on NC State. And depending on whether they win or lose there, they will take on the winner in the LSU Marquette bracket. And some tough games ahead of them at Creighton, home against Texas A&M, at Kentucky, at UNLV. So that'll be a good barometer, as Don mentioned, on where you are as you get set for conference play.
Well, it's nice of them to have a game like this as well.
Mm-hmm. Goodman got cracked down on the defensive end of the floor. Washington as well. He can do that.
I'm telling you, his motor never stops, especially on the offensive board.
4.5 minutes to go in this one. ASU leading Kennesaw State 73-46. Good movement. Great pass. Beautiful pass. Jerry Blake's on the move. Kept it high to Alika for the two-hand jam.
Another example of being unselfish. He could have turned the corner and looked for his own. Nobody would have said anything, but makes the extra pass. Alika with the easy dunk.
Pruitt is way off, and the rebound comes down here to Blake's on the run. Sets up Justice. Bingo. Knocks down a triple. And ASU now starting to put Kennesaw way back there in the rearview mirror with 3:47 left.
Great confidence builder. You know, you lose your first game to Sacramento State, which, you know, doesn't look good, doesn't feel good. You come back and beat a pretty good Belmont team, but then you follow it up with one like this. This is one that you start to get the confidence back.
Watch the pass. Blakes turns the corner, draws the double. That Jacobson is amassed tonight, 15 points and 10 boards. The 14 points of Alika coming off the bench, 6 of 8 shooting. Very efficient play from him. Curtain of distraction now is, well, they've just lost control over there, Don, is all that's happened there. They've brought all their characters out. All their mystical characters.
There was 4 characters that time.
Kendrick Ray is not impressed.
The double distraction.
Yeah. Ray, the junior, locks in and knocks down the free throw. The transfer from Quinnipiac. I had to work that into the broadcast. There's Justice on the post-up. I worked all afternoon on that.
On
Justice
what?
Quinnipiac. Fall-away banker by Justice is good. 80-48 count, 3:15 left, second half. Donnell Brown, They did a great job to put the clamps down on Brown. He came into this game averaging 22.5. I guess pretty good competition at 34 against Alabama. Take a look at our upcoming schedule, brought to you by Jared. On to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn on Monday. There'll be a lot of press following that game and the story of Bobby Hurley, obviously, as he returns to the East Coast. Coaching at Buffalo for the last couple of years. And then the Gauchos, UCSB on the 29th at Creighton, Texas A&M at Kentucky.
Look out December 12th.
Yeah, welcome to December.
I watched that Kentucky game last night. Man, are they impressive. But different this year. I mean, last year they had Towns and Cauley Stein, all bigs, and now it's kind of flipped. It's Ulis and Briscoe and Murray, all the guards. But Calipari does an unbelievable job recruiting, and Krzyzewski for that matter. But the level of talent at Duke and Kentucky on that floor last night was really impressive.
ASU continues to crash the glass, shows Justice the no-look. And he'll flip it up ahead. Austin Witherall is in, the freshman from Gilbert, Arizona. Justice, a deep look, grazed the iron. Running down the rebound is Aleka, but he stepped out of bounds. So the Owls will take possession with 2:18 remaining. Tyler Harris is in, 6'5", 200-pounder from Oaks Christian down in Los Angeles. He's a freshman this year. Cody Justice on the bench. Witherall working on the wing for three. Bench rooting for him. In and out.
Wonder if the fans are rooting for him.
Local kid, I would think so.
Local kid, but I mean, is there? It's score over 85, you get a free taco or anything like that?
Yeah.
That's what the walk-ons are most famous for when they get in the game, because usually it's a blowout and they're nearing some sort of milestone in the score that gets you a free corn dog or something.
Curtain of distraction.
Hasn't been that distracting tonight.
Kendrick Ray knocks it down. ASU from the line 16-23. Kennesaw State now 8 of 13 at the stripe, 61%. That's pretty good for the curtain of distraction. I'm not sure anyone has put the numbers together on the curtain of distraction, what opponent free throw percentage was last year at Wells Fargo.
I don't know exactly, and I should have researched that, but I do know that it's documented that the free throw percentage goes down for the opposition in the second half as opposed to the first half.
Okay.
And it was by, I want to say, like 9 or 10%, 8, 9, 10%, something like that.
That's big.
Yeah.
Aleka with a hard dribble drive, the jump stop, and as he went into the air, he's knocked off bounds, and he'll shoot two here. For the record, 40 total personal fouls called. That's not bad between these two teams.
Yeah, but it's also a 30-point game.
And a combination of a total of 36 free throws attempted between the two squads.
Yeah, I think Bobby Hurley will be pleased with this performance. I thought their defense was good. You know, Kennesaw State wasn't a big challenge for them, but we've seen teams that weren't supposed to be a big challenge teams. I think the one thing he's really going to be pleased with is the unselfish play and the extra passing, and that led to a lot of easy buckets.
Well, with Olika showing his ability to score the ball a little bit, and you add that to Justice and then Savon Goodman coming off the bench, it's a pretty decent 8-man rotation you have there.
And I think he'll still play with that. Like, again, Olika only played 6.5 minutes on average the first 2, and he played a big role tonight in this game. Double figures in scoring, so I think it'll be a fluid situation through November and December. But, yeah, you hope by the time you get to January 1 and you open a conference play, you are set on an 8-9-man rotation.
Olika tonight with 18 points and 5 rebounds. Sailing the other way with the hammer. There's Maurice Ofield. Under a minute remaining.
Pass.
An easy one at the rim is off the mark, and Olika with a rebound. Witherall of 3. There it is. Corn dogs for everybody here at Wells Fargo Arena. That looks like a hungry crowd. 40-point lead for ASU, their largest of the ball game, with a half minute remaining. So ASU will go to 2-1 on the year. And that season opening loss against Sacramento State, who knows, it may have done them some good. They came back with a very efficient game, played against Belmont with a win, and then the win here tonight against Kennesaw State going away.
Yeah, you never know, and I think it maybe got their attention. You know, the same thing happened at Oregon State last year. They lost to a Division